The Chicago Bears had a heavy presence at the Michigan Pro Day. The Michigan social media team actually put together a hype video from the Pro Day, and it featured both our head coach Ben Johnson and our defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, showing both of them on hand checking out some of this year's top prospects. So today I wanted to take a quick look at some of the players the Bears could have been scouting at Michigan. First, there are four legit first round prospects, all four who could very possibly go in the first 20 picks of this year's draft: Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, and Coleston Loveland. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant are two stud defensive tackle prospects. Both would fit the Bears very well, and both could actually be in play at pick 10. Mason Graham is a guy I've long considered had no shot at falling to us, but the closer we get to the draft, I do believe there is a chance that Mason Graham could fall to pick 10. But even if he goes in the first five picks, like most expect, I think people are sleeping on the prospect of picking his teammate, Kenneth Grant. I've actually talked to quite a few people who have Grant ranked higher than Mason Graham. He might actually have more potential as well. He's an athletic freak, and I've called him a supercharged version of Andrew Billings with more pass rush upside. You simply can't watch tape of Mason Graham without noticing Kenneth Grant. Both are special prospects and both would fit Dennis Allen's defense. But there are two other potential top 20 picks that the Bears could have been checking out. Will Johnson has long been considered the best cornerback in this entire draft, a lock to go in the first 10 picks, but recent mock drafts do have him sliding just a bit. Could the Bears consider taking another shutdown corner to pair opposite of Jalen Johnson? I think the chances are pretty low, but I cannot completely rule it out. But what about Coleston Loveland, the consensus number 2 tight end prospect, and a guy who was also in Daniel Jeremiah's top 8 overall prospects in the entire draft? Loveland gets overlooked a bit due to the hype that Tyler Warren is receiving, but most consider Loveland the better receiving threat of the two. He isn't quite the blocker that Warren is, but Loveland is a dynamic receiver who can stretch the field. He's a great route runner with awesome hands, and he's a lock to go in round 1. I haven't talked about him much when it comes to the Bears, but if Ben Johnson thinks that Cole Kmet can be the in-line tight end, it's possible he could view Loveland as the move tight end, having him move around the field and find mismatches, even lining him up as the big slot receiver. More and more teams are taking advantage of tight end mismatches in the NFL. It's something that Ben Johnson did with Sam Laporta in Detroit. That makes 4 Michigan players who could potentially be in play for the Bears' first round pick. It makes sense why both Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson would attend the Pro Day. No reason to overreact here or anything, but definitely something worth noting. Michigan also has a couple of late round prospects worth monitoring as well. Josiah Stewart is an undersized pass rusher who's a sleeper in this year's class, and then they also have a couple of day 3 running back prospects and a late round tackle in Miles Hinton. Some of the big schools' pro days have already finished. Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and various smaller schools have already completed their pro days this season. But we have a bunch more coming this week, including multiple tomorrow, March 24th, with the top school being Iowa. But then Tuesday, Texas has their pro day. We could get a chance to see Kelvin Banks Jr., and Wednesday is another huge one. Josh Simmons and Ohio State are scheduled for the 26th. They're joined by LSU, Boise State, and some other schools as well. Notre Dame leads the list of Thursday schools, and then Friday, Penn State and some other schools have their pro days. This week is going to wrap up all of the major pro days, with a couple of smaller schools going next week. The final pro day is April 4th, Montana State. I'll definitely be covering Ohio State's pro day this week, checking in on left tackle Josh Simmons' workout. If he's healthy, watch out for him. But stay tuned, guys. I have a ton more content on the way. I released my Bears off-season recap video the other day. Check that out if you missed it. Remember to hit the like button for me. And until next time, bear down.